basic quest was for a better musical sound, and that's where he started. And he started with converting an existing instrument, which is called kachwa. It's a surbahar, a sitar made from wood, not from the natural goods, the tumbas. So, and it has a slightly different design to the conventional. So he converted that by removing the frets and by raising the this part of the instrument, which is which is that is the bridge, and this is the tardan. So not because it used as kachwa, you hold your hand and play, so it doesn't have to rest on the ground. So he just put a stick at the bottom. He was trying to create a non-fretted instrument so that the continuity of the sound could be created, like we have in the voice. So that sounded better than another conventional instrument, which is called the Vichitrapur, and which is played in the same way as I played this instrument. It sounded much better, and the reason was that the bridge was on the tabla, the sounding board, and the violin is on just a piece of wood, which we call the stem or the leaf. It hardly resonates. It's like a vibrating instrument. There's resonance. The resonance doesn't pass to those gourds, which are just a function of a stand, not of a musical resonating chamber. So that it sounded better, and that's the journey of the saga we started, which was 1970 March. That's where the journey started. And in 2013, he's still working on it, and I always said that work is in progress, and he's ill, and yet he's been working on it. So maybe that's why they don't sound perfect, because I brought it in the middle of his work to give a demonstration of the instrument. So whereas the structure is concerned, this is a radical departure from the existing stringed instruments all over the world, because there are two parts to the instrument. One is this frame, which is more than about 12 kilos. It's reinforced steel, aluminum, reinforced aluminum, and concealed with it. Because it had to be like that, because there are 10 playing strings, and the tension of the strings, that's a lot of weight of the instrument, has to be on such a structure which can take this tension. And they're very, very taut strings. They're at high tension, most of them. So, and the reason was for separating the vibrating part from the resonating part, because the resonance, if it was not sort of paper thin, and every part of every resonating chamber, even resonating chambers, the feet of the instrument. So he has worked bit by bit on every part of the instrument, and of course he begins with the theory that the resonating and the vibrating parts have to be separated. So theoretically he's worked it out in his mind, but the first model of this design was created in '94, and ever since he's been working intensively in order to make those two parts compatible, so that they can produce maximum, optimum musicality. So I will go very much into this, because it just I also get deflected. I think the proof of the pudding lies in it. But right now there is no, you can just have a sense of the proof, I can just say. I don't think that either the playing or the uniformity of the instrument, of the sound of the instrument, is really, something that everybody will be able to detect. But nonetheless, the fact that there is an instrument being created in Lahore at 2013, and there's somebody vision through it. I think that is the story. Rap Parent is, sorry. And Reza has also worked on the theory of Indian classical music, and he calls the music will be alive and not just adhering to the old conventional form and format, even of classical music. He calls it Sanjan Sangeet. Sanjan is that which is derived from the truth. So, and his, I mean, that's what explains what he's looking for. So, Sanjan Sangeet doesn't exist. I think we have, it's still, I think it's in the form of an idea. But yes, we depart from the existing structures of Indian classical music and the form of classical music. So right now, it is which is the non-rhythmic part, where not the non-rhythmic, but where the accompaniment is without the accompaniment, and it's a slow. It's the beginning of where you create the mood of a rag. So that is what I've been trying to do, create the mood of rag pair, morning rag. But again, we cannot strictly adhere to the mood that portrayed in the old traveler.
Well, now that you've heard Noor-Zehra play, I'd like to ask a few questions about her own training. And for me, in fact, personally, it's a very, very moving experience because I first met her in 1971. 71. And when she was this strip of a girl who would come with her Vina, a very different incarnation, to London in search of sound, and where she met with a lady called Rajeshwari Datta at the School of Oriental and African Studies, and she was also learning Sanskrit to all know about the depth, the theory of the music. So I think, and I'm going to call her Bibli because it's a bit difficult for me to call her Noor-Zehra, so do forgive us if we go to this familiar territory. So Bibli, if you could please tell us a little bit first how you started learning in Lahore and who you were learning from. Yeah. And of course, Raza's search for the sound, which started it all.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about your first Ustad and what took you to London and then the journey to the States as well.
Right, right. I have to share that with everyone. I think, is this mic working? Okay. But, you know, I have a selfish motive before I start again, you know, reminiscing. I want to some feedback about the sound, all of you, because it's important. It goes in what Raza is doing right now. Feedback has helped him improve the sound. So musically, or otherwise, or whatever response, whether it's negative also, I mean, the musical criticism will benefit me, and I think I can take your, you know, your feedback to Reza, because it will help him work much better on the instrument.
First the journey, then more playing, and then
she's always
open
been
it
like
to
that.
the floor.
She's always been like that.
Yeah.
There's no way. I thought I had this much space for myself. I don't.
You will. You absolutely will. But the questions will come at the end.
Okay.
The questions will come at the end.
I was trying to be a very sort of keep myself harnessed, you know. It's not working. Thank you.
I would love to have the questions and answers.
Okay. I was being indisciplined, I think.
So
okay.
do tell us first about your training.
Okay. I think, and by telling them about how we started Indian music, classical music, by Raza, all of us, 4 of us, onto learning the sitar and learning vocal music. Bela and Vina were learning vocal music from one teacher, as you know, that who normally that was the way one learned, that they used to come at home, and was one teacher who was teaching one or more people who were learning from. So he was teaching vocal and instrumental both at that time. So that's how we started. I think I played the sitar for about a year or so, and then I moved on to the subahar because I was more inclined towards the non-rhythmic part of the our music, which is the alap, and Bela was more inclined towards the gat, which is the rhythmic part. And Raza was, of course, being the way he is inquiring, searching, he thought I should switch from the sitar to the subahar. So yes, it was much better. I had more room for self-expression. But learning, as far as learning was concerned, it was restricted by the teacher who taught. He could not make us, they had to adhere to what we wanted to learn, and that still continues at home, where people come and teach at home. That the student demands, that's the fault of our method of learning. And so I didn't go through the grill of learning Indian classical music. Music you have to go through in order to, you know, get the notes right, the rhythm right. So,
tell us a little bit about what you mean by the grill and the difference, and because say that if you've been in a Ustad Shagird relationship.
But that did not happen with the first teacher, because he was willing to, compromise. The skill is basically where you have to do hours and hours of repetitive practice in order to grasp one note or one tal or structure which we call a bandish, which is within a tal framework. You have to play notes in a certain way, in a certain sequence, and in a given rhythm, at a certain tempo. So that was, and for that, a beginner has to break it up into different parts, whether they are just the notes or those phrases or those rhythmic patterns within the tal framework. So that has to, by grill, that is what is meant to go on repeating them till you grasp them, till they become part of memory, and your hands just follow something like I'm speaking. I mean, the words just come out when you need them. It's like that. So I did not go through that drill at all. And I think by the time I'd put in about 2-3 years of learning, I think maybe I'd become indisciplined enough. Because when I did go to the drill, which was in 74, came back from the United States and England, I realized that it was very tough. It was very difficult. It was literally, I thought I was losing my balance, because it was, that was Ustad Sharif, the late Sharif Khan Punchwari, who wanted me to perfect the notes. He would also come at home and teach, and for 3 hours he would not make me move from one note to another. And for 3 weeks I would go. Obviously, even when he was gone, under that tremendous pressure, I would not be able to produce that note. So I would not say that it is a faulty method, but it requires a lot of stamina. And maybe I could not really, come up to the requirement of learning Indian music. But still, I mean, if you have left out something, maybe I was not very good at doing the tals. If I've left it out, I will be desperate. I cannot say that I will not have to make up for that. Later, if I have to continue playing music, I'll have to master to play that within a rhythmic structure.
Sorry, I'm going to stop you. I can hear a mobile phone, please. Could you please turn your mobile phone off? Sorry.
So what Chini is mentioning was again in search of a teacher when Raza sent me to England in 1971 to learn from Dr. Rajeshwari Datta, who was the head of the India department at SOAS at that time. But unfortunately, she didn't have time, and she was also quite out of touch with music at that time, because she was a student of Tagore, Rabindranath Tagore at Niketan, but she was out of touch. So that failed. Over there, Ustad Ali Akbar Khan, the famous flute player, the late Ustad Ali Akbar Khan, he had come to perform. And of course, enthusiastically, I took the instrument to him and I said, would you please, direct me, teach me, give me some guidance. So he says that he listened to the instrument and he said that yes, you can learn, but you'll have to come to California, where I have a school of music. So Raza, of course, very sort of happily, I mean, he sent me at whatever cost. He knows it must have, he had 6 children at that time, and all growing up, and Raza being Raza, it must have been a tremendous, financial pressure on him, but he sent me. I was there for 2 terms, and it was more of an experience which I absorbed rather than I learned anything. I had 3 or 4 personal lessons from Ustad Ali Akbar Khan at his house. I kept one. I took 2 instruments. I was recalling that day that we went in a chartered plane because they were cheaper at that time, and Raza had sent me to, accompany me because I turned 18 at Ali Akbar College. So I could not travel alone at that time. So I took these 2 instruments, and they went in 4 boxes. So in a chartered plane, where we did not even have proper, seats to sit on. And but still, I mean, if there's a will, there's a way. So over there, of course, I witnessed how the Americans learned music, though they had persevering, hard working, and just breaking things, analyzing mean, on the practical level of doing and then mastering each and every bit of it and writing on our music, which we could not do. And next week coming and playing much better than even, I mean, Ali Khasab used to forget what he taught, and they remembered because they could write down and they could back it up with hours and hours of practice in a week. That was I mean, I saw it with my own eyes. It was to work hard, not at home, but over there. I gathered from America. I could not learn much over there because Khasab did not have time to teach me individually. He used to take classes on a regular basis. So, but one thing I would like to say, Tini, and over there, once I remember I broke down while practicing, and I cried and I cried. I said, I can't practice. It was so humiliating because there were 4 American girls playing at fast tempo for 4 hours, non-stop, and within after 2 hours, I did not have the stamina to play. But they were practicing the sitar, and I had played the sitar, so I was playing sitar with them. And I broke, so he said that, he of course comforted me, and he says, it's all right, but you will have to adopt to the ways of this place where you are. In order to learn, you have to adopt to the ways. And that is that you have to adjust to the social norms that operate there. And I understood at 18 years old what he meant, that you have to give in in order to learn. And that is where my own alarm bells rang, that no, if I'm not intact, if I don't, the person that I know does not remain intact, I will not be able to learn. To hell with music. If I'm not myself, in one piece, I can't learn music. So I took the risk of coming back from there. I did not decide to concede to what the Ustad was saying. And one or two other incidents who wanted me to, do namaste or whatever, so that I did not deviate from or, touch his knees. And I just used to do adab, salam, or whatever. So I want to say that you have to be yourself. Because music is about being truthful. You can't, whatever you know, whatever little you know, whatever little you reflect upon, only that comes out. You can't, nothing can be enforced, even from a teacher. Nothing can be enforced upon you. So I came back. And I was very fortunate to have Ustad Sharif Khan Punchwale, who taught me for about 15 months. And that was the only learning period. That was the only learning period I had. And whatever little I gathered was during that time. And then on, I think I'll keep the rest, for some other time. I think I'm hearing so much of my voice, I'm not liking it at all. Okay.
I think that it's very interesting because yesterday we were, we had discussions on the literature of resistance. So I think that what's very interesting is that in Bibli's life and the way she's lived her life, there is this quiet resistance and rebellion against the status quo, whether she's rebelling against the way the Ustad was teaching her, or in the society in Pakistan, just with the kind of life that she's living and the kind of choices that she's made for herself. And I just feel terribly proud of knowing her and being part of some of the journey, because indeed I went to Luton Airport to pick her up when she came back from San Francisco, and feeling at that point rather defeated, but how wonderful that she is where she is today. So before she starts with the second piece, which will be Rag Bilawal, and which is all natural notes, can we give her a hand before she even plays? Yes. I don't deserve all you do. No, how wonderful. Can I have feedback from people? After you've played? After? Yes, of course, after they've heard. You will. We've got time. Okay, just hang on. I'm being told that, so do you want to give your feedback before you play? No, so, okay. All right, I will. Maybe I'll play a short piece. No, okay, just hang on. Bibli, why don't I'll suggest one thing, because people here, I'm sure if they want to give you feedback, so after the session, they can meet you and give you some feedback. Or should I give them 5 minutes if people, is anybody dying to give Bibli feedback? Please raise your hands. They want to hear you. Yeah. That's okay. Then after the sound is moving again. So
No, I can't play for 25 minutes. Not a laugh only. I mean, if there's
no, just play. बीस मिनट बाद
Rag Bilaval is just the natural.
Yeah, yeah.
Sari Gama Pada Nisa, again a lap and then.
Please ramble a little more. Please ramble a little more.
Say you, Vina. I know time to बहुत I think.
Maybe just ramble a little more. Bilawal nahi mein kar. You want to do?
And they were, you know, in 1985, General Jilani was about to leave, and so he got this design. In fact, there's a story behind this place where we are sitting also. Reza was in jail. He was, you know, by the martial law. No, Sunu, it's right now. Here, I didn't never realize that this is the music center that General Jilani designed because he was convinced that Reza was not, you know, a person who they thought he was. So when he was convinced, so he got this part of the Alhambra main. Not this hall, this whole building. It was called the Music Center. So we sent Kazim, my husband, was secretary with General Jilani. So he drafted a proposal. I mean, we gave him the idea. So this was called the Music Center.
No, not the whole Alhambra, just
this
the music.
This wing, this whole building. So this was the auditorium. There were going to be classes downstairs. There was supposed to be a museum upstairs of musical instruments, and then there were, I mean, for musicology, for research. That is what it was supposed to be.
Maybe we can restart that, but abba jao.
But I didn't realize it now, and we at home with the place that we are designed for the public, and you know, for where I'm sort of. Well, बहुत ज़्यादा हौसला अफजाई है. Outside, I will be gone.
Maybe you got 10 minutes now.
So I think, as like we always do in a conventional program, we also wind it up with Bhairavi. Bhairavi is the last people sing when they're finishing their performance. So I think that's what.
Scale bazaar.
Bhairavi is a flat note rag. In fact, it takes all 12 notes, the 12 semitones within an octave, the flat and sharp. So they're all semitones apart, but the structure, the note structure is completely different. And Bhairavi can be played in fact, it's like a universal note structure. You have equivalents of Bhairavi in every kind of music. So, but there are many kinds of Bhairavi also, depending on the region, like Banaras, Lucknow, and they're all different. But this is Lahori Bhairavi, 2013. This is Lahori Bhairavi.
I like that.
Obviously, it's a Lahori Bhairavi. end with him. So I like